my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs a man, a septic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, need some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself,
Testing, testing. Well, guys, give me some ones and twos and stuff if you can hear me and you can see me pretty good. Yeah, there's a delay. So, yeah, you guys let me know if y'all can hear me or not. I'm trying the best that I can.
We can hear you now.
All right.
About a 10-second delay.
Let's see how this looks. I'm looking on my phone here. Let's see here. There's a little bit of a delay, it looks like. See? I get to monitor on my phone. I'm trying the best that I can. Let me turn that shit down for a second. Well, we're not going to use that anyway. Hey guys, thank y'all for joining the live stream. Let's see how this looks. I'm looking on my phone here. Let me turn that shit off. Wow, the purpose for this live stream today. The purpose for this live stream. You know, guys, I could go on here and I could talk about Patrick all day long, right? I could talk about Patrick all day long, and then he's going to come out with some video, and he's going to lie. He's going to lie, cheat, steal, do anything he can to minimize what's being said. So I figured, and there's a lot of things that we do need to talk about, and what better than to hear it from the horse's mouth, right? So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to get his ex on the phone, Selena. Selena is going to be the ex, right? And so that's what we're going to do. And thank you guys for joining. Just looking at some things here. Trying to see how I can see the comments as they come in. Ah, there we go. And I think I can even put a LOL in there, and bam, there we go. All right, cool. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, from what I understand, Mr. Ed, he likes to file privacy complaints, so I'm not going to use his name. I've adopted a nickname, Mr. Ed. ED stands for erectile dysfunction. So, the artist formerly known as News Now Patrick is now Mr. Ed. So, anyway, so from what I take it is Patrick has a child support order, mainly And he's been ordered to pay child support for quite some time. I don't know how long he's been. And from what I understand, he hasn't paid a dime. And he's made 1,000 promises to pay, but he has not. So you guys can hear me okay? Just let me know you can hear me all right. And turn it up. I can't hear you from the room. Okay, so you want me to turn up my mic? How's that? Make sure that we have the sound stuff done right. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Is that any better? I can put this a little bit closer to my face, I guess. But the problem is, I guess I could take it out of there. You guys hear me all right with the big ones? Give me some big ones if you guys can hear me okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. Let's set that back up. I am having fun with my little camera setup here. How's that? Let me shut this door. All right, how's that? You guys can hear me all right? Okay, good. So let's call it. Let's get this party started. Shit. What the hell? My microphone just fell off this thing. Now, y'all want to send me some money to get me a proper microphone? No, I'm just kidding. I got a good microphone. I'm just lazy and I don't set everything up the way I should. I procrastinate too much. Maybe I can get this, get my LAN plugged in so we have no delays. So, all right. Ta-da-ta-da. Does anybody have any questions before we call Selena? Anybody have any questions? Patrick is not my business partner anymore. Patrick is not my business partner. Let's make one thing clear. At one time, we were business partners. But we are no longer business partners. We were partners in the sense that I paid him to do a job. I paid him to produce videos. Business partner, employee, office bitch, whatever you want to call it. He did something for me for pay. And no more than, he claims that, or he feels that if you hire him and you pay him money to do something for you, if he puts in a lot of hard work, that he now owns part of or all of or a good portion of what he was working on. Even though you had him work on your stuff. So he thinks, I guess, if I hire him to wax my car, when he's done, if he puts in a day's work, hard work on it, that he owns a part of that car. If I hire him to give me a BJ, I guess he thinks he owns part of my knob. I don't understand his rationale, but at the end of the day, I paid him to do a job, and that was produce videos and administer my Facebook page. And then he decided, because he didn't like the way things were going and he didn't like me giving orders as to what to do with the Facebook page that I controlled, he decided one night to hijack it. He changed all the passwords. He called me up and told me that he would not give me access back to the Facebook page unless I signed a contract giving him 50% ownership of the Facebook. And I tried everything I could, including capitulating to him and trying to make him happy just to be able to log back into my Facebook. And it was only not until he realized that his stripper prostitute girlfriend at the time was going to learn that he banged a stripper at the strip club that she worked at, where he met her, and when he realized that I had her number and I had video, he let me back in. then he called me up and he explained to me. We were friends at that point, right? At least that's what he thought. I tricked him 100%, because I was doing everything I could to protect my Facebook page. He had threatened to delete it. He threatened to destroy it if I didn't sign that contract. That is extortion, by the way, and so once I got back on there, I just kept him happy until mid-September, when I sued him, obtained a restraining order preventing him from doing anything on the Facebook page, like destroying it, changing the name of it, things like that, things he threatened to do. And he responded by giving me back my Facebook page. And then I guess he expected me to drop the lawsuit. But there were two other issues. One was he had to pay my attorney fees because the way I feel, he forced me to sue him. I told him I was going to sue him, but he wouldn't change anything, and so I had to sue him. He forced me to sue him, so he has to pay the attorney fees. And then there's a question about taxes. Now, I don't know Patrick's tax situation. I don't know if he's using his daughter's Social Security number when he files his W-9s, or his mom's Social Security number when he files his W-9s. I do know that when he got booted off of YouTube, that he created the News Now Patrick under his mom's name. I know that. I don't know what tax information he's using. I'm working to get to the bottom of that. But what I can tell you is that he does not have, Mr. Ed does not have any tax transcripts for at least the last 2 or 3 years. And if you know anything about taxes, with the IRS, if you file your taxes, there is a transcript. Not your tax return. It's a transcript. It's a record of the filing. And he doesn't have any. And I know that for a fact because when we were, quote, business partners, I had access to that information. I was able to get that information. And not only that, but he's talked to me about his tax schemes, his business schemes where he thinks he's hiding assets from the Attorney General's office and stuff like that. So anyway, his LLCs and his trust accounts, these things that he thinks nobody knows about. So anyway, that lawsuit is still ongoing. It's still pending. The status of that is we had a court date in which we were seeking a permanent restraining order, but since he gave me back the ownership of the Facebook page, there was no reason to have that court hearing because there was no reason to ask for a permanent restraining order because the restraining order was just to protect the property. But since he gave me back control of that property and he was no longer had anything to do with it and he couldn't do anything to it, there was no need to waste the court's time with that hearing. So we waived that hearing. Contrary to Mr. Ed's claims, he is not suing me. He did file an answer and he asserted a counterclaim in that answer. But he himself, there is no Patrick Roth plaintiff versus defendant Jack Miller. There is a plaintiff Jack Miller versus defendant Patrick Roth. That lawsuit is still very much ongoing because Patrick refuses to pay the attorney fees. And by the way, if we prevail, because this is what's called a deck action, by law he has to pay those attorney fees and they'll be awarded by the court. It's a matter of law. And then on the taxes, I've offered to release him of the tax liability. Right now, all I know by the records that I have is that the owner of the Facebook page is responsible for those taxes, and that W-9 is not in Patrick Roth's name, and it's in TX Sheepdog 72's name and Annabelle Campbell's name, and he's provided no evidence to support his claim that he provided a W-9 with his information on there. Now, whether or not he just didn't do it and he's lying, or maybe he doesn't want to provide that W-9 because there's information on there he doesn't want us to know, like it has his daughter's name or his mom's name or somebody else's name, some type of fraud. He won't produce that W-9. All he has to do is let the court see. Not that it matters if I saw it, right? Because I have all his information. Well, he claims, oh, well, I don't want to release it because it has my personal information. I have his name, address, date of birth, social security number, bank account information. I have everything on him because all that stuff I was privy to that information when we were working together. And so that's a baseless claim. Oh, I don't want to release my W-9 because it has my personal information. So the only thing I can think is that there's information on that W-9 that he doesn't want anybody to see. Maybe it might incriminate him. So, otherwise, why wouldn't the taxes in question are around $8,000? It's a significant piece of money. And I'm not going to release liability from him. He took that money when he diverted the funds right there at the end. And when he diverted the funds, he did pay me my portion, but he kept the $8,000 in taxes. And I'm responsible for that. So I'm seeking it. All he has to do is provide proof that he is responsible for the taxes, and then I drop that claim. Simple as that. Why wouldn't he show a W-9 to drop that portion of the lawsuit? I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to ask him. Or wait for his next video with this outlandish response. So anyway, that's what's going on with the lawsuit. People were asking about my current situation with the leg monitor and all that stuff. I'm still on house arrest until mid-December if I don't have any more violations or I don't allow the court to play their games, by screwing up, then I'll be off of house arrest mid-December. But the judge is going to keep me on GPS monitoring for the foreseeable future. My case is still on appeal and just waiting for that to be done. If I win my appeal, then everything is said and done. If I don't win my appeal, we plan to take it to the 4th Court of Appeals, on up to the Supreme Court if we have to. The funny thing is, when you're deciding to appeal these cases, understand something. It was brought up to me by my own piece of junk attorney, court-appointed attorney, that I could have been done with my probation already if I would have just served my probation, and fighting it is only delaying that. And it's true. If I would have just started my probation back in April, you only got to serve 1/3 of it on good behavior, I would have been done already. But what I told my attorney is, you obviously don't understand why I do what I do. Probation, sentences, all this harm that people like him and others think that is being exerted upon me, it is what it is, man. I'm a person of principle. I will not plead out nor serve time voluntarily for a crime I didn't commit. And that's just what it is. So if we have to fight this for 10 years, and 10 years from now I finally have to serve my 2 years probation, then so be it. Could care less. I screwed up and got within 500 yards of almost Park City Hall. I didn't realize it. I was so far away that I didn't realize I was so close. So anyway, 500 yards is basically the size of the city. So my bad, and it gave them the opportunity to do what they did to me. It is what it is. It happens. You can't be perfect all the time, and that is what it is. So that's the situation with the leg monitor. I'm still very much in the game, still very much doing my thing. And let's give Selena a call and get this going. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to get into your questions to ask her. But if you can repost those here in about, after I get her on the phone, then let's do that. So I'm going to get her on the phone now. And I did extend an invitation to Patrick to come on the live stream, just in case something is said that he doesn't agree with. And you know what? He has the opportunity to come on the live stream. This thing is not monetized, so I'm not trying to make money. And so, of course, my links are there for people that want to donate to the channel or whatever. But tonight, any money donated or collected is not going to go to me. it's going to go directly to the support of Patrick's daughter, of whom he is not providing any support to. So, any money that's sent, if you find it in your heart to donate anything, it's going straight to giving it to Selena to use for her daughter. So she's not asking for that. She is not asking for that. That's just something that I am saying. So I'm not saying you have to give money, but I'm just saying if you find it in your heart to do that, and you're not bad if you don't. Just she is not with Patrick anymore. She's not going back to Patrick ever, as far as I can tell. So anyway, let's get Selena here. Hey Selena, this is Jack.
Hey Jack.
Let me just make sure before we start talking. Can you recite the American Constitution so that way everybody can make sure that your audio's coming in okay?
I can do that even if I wanted to.
So you guys, can you hear her okay?
A, B, C, no?
I see somebody already says, do you think a disgruntled ex is a credible source? And look, there, Selena is not a disgruntled ex.
I don't, please don't think that I'm disgruntled. I still have, pretty regular contact with Patrick, and we try to have a civil relationship, but, if anybody knows Patrick, if you're not 100% Team Patrick, it's kind of hard to have that, so.
Yeah, so going through some of the comments here for questions and stuff. Let me see here. You guys, if you have any questions, this is your time to ask them. This is the time to ask them. We have Selena on the phone. As you all know, Selena and Patrick were together at one time. They had a child, and they're not together anymore.
Happy gruntled. I like that one better.
Yeah. Selena is happy gruntled, according to her, and that would be the way I would describe it. I know Selena, and I would say happy gruntled is happy gruntled is a good way to put it. Are you still single? People want to know, are you still single?
I am very much single, but not emotionally ready to mingle. Sorry.
So, yeah. Single but not emotionally ready to mingle. What about ready to mingle emotions aside? That's a little bit too private. So she may not answer all questions that we have, but she's going to do her best. Do you still have the stroller for the kid?
I have a stroller. If they're referring to the one that we bought like a long, long time ago when she was first born, I think she outgrew that one.
Well, this is Desert Goats asking. Jack, ask her if she still has the stroller for the kid.
If Desert Goat, we still have the stroller. She did outgrow it, but I have a niece that uses it now. So. Okay.
All right, good deal. If you guys have a problem hearing her, let me know in the comment section because that's what I'm watching as we're talking. And I think for right now, for the trolls that are getting in there while we're doing the Q&A, if they're being disruptive and not providing any good questions to ask, you can go ahead and hide them for this stream. Don't block them from the channel, but hide them from this one so that way we can get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to do that to be respectful to the viewers that are here seriously asking questions. Let's see here. I'm still looking here, so.
I'm trying to look also at the same time.
Yeah, Selena, if you see any questions that you want to answer, go ahead and read the question and then and go ahead and see. Well, the topics that she is going to touch on that you have listed prove anything related to your case with Patrick, or is this just an attempt to embarrass or troll him? Yeah, so Top Troll, I'm going to answer this question, and then if you don't have any legit questions for Selena, I'm going to hide you from the channel. So I'm not trying to embarrass or troll Patrick. This stream was not about my case. My viewers, the ones that are loyal to me, ask me questions all the time. Some of the top questions are about my current case and about the case with Patrick, the civil case and the criminal case. There is a criminal case right now. It's at the Bexar County District Attorney's Office for theft by extortion, and they're still. I'm just waiting to see if they're going to move forward with the case or not. But that's not what this stream was about. This stream was to basically hear it from the horse's mouth about some things that I'm aware of about Mr. Ed. A lot of questions come in about this, so we're going to address it, and I'm bringing the horse to the stream, so to speak. Not saying you're a horse, Selena, but
yeah, I was about to say, why do I have to be
the horse's mouth, right? You're hearing it straight from the person that knows, and answer some of these questions. I get questions all the time, and I'm like, well, shit, let's have Selena answer them. I'm tired of answering them. So, not trolling Patrick. So, Top Troll, if you ask another dumb question like that, I'm gonna top delete you. All right. How much?
I saw a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I saw a question from Joe that says, "Do you regret going out and auditing with Patrick?" And that's an easy question. No, I don't regret it at all. I feel like I learned a lot. I experienced a lot, and when I look back at it now, I'm not necessarily happy with how some things went and how some things turned out, but I don't regret it. So that was a good question.
All right, good. I think somebody asked. Yeah. So let's talk about. So he, from what I understand, he was ordered to pay child support for your daughter.
Correct.
And how long ago did that happen? How long ago did he get the first order?
The first order was issued, I want to say, about a month and a half after we separated. So he was ordered to start paying child support in March.
So he was ordered to pay in March of 2022?
Correct.
All right. And then did you have another court date after that?
Yes, we did have a follow-up court date in...
what was that about?
It was... Our main concern in the second court date was custody, which was my main focus. Not so much child support, but...
What was the outcome of that court date for custody?
I do have full custody of our daughter.
You got full custody?
Correct.
And how did he take that? Did he, argue in court or go off in court?
He did not show up.
He didn't show up to court?
No.
For a custody hearing?
Yes.
He knew that this was a custody hearing for his child.
He gets the same paperwork I do, so I'm assuming he knew.
Right, so he was served with because they're not going to hold a court date until a person is served.
Right.
And, I mean, not generally, but they're not going to hold a court date unless the other party is served. If they can't serve them, then they'll do something like put it in the newspaper or say it on the courthouse steps 100 times in a mirror or something like that. I don't know. But he was legitimately served and given this court date for this custody hearing for his child, for y'all's child.
Right.
And he didn't show up. Did he didn't show up for this court date?
No.
Did he say why he didn't show up for the court date?
He did call me the day after, and he said that he had the wrong date. He said that he was confused about the dates, and it was just an excuse, which it usually is with him. But he does have visitation, and I made that clear to him. I would never keep her from him, but he does have visitation. He doesn't use that either, so that's completely up to him.
Right. And so, okay, so what did he, I mean, what was his response to you getting full custody of y'all's kid? Did he like be like, "Oh, that's cool, no problem"? Or I mean, a lot of times, and the reason I'm asking is, a lot of parents that sends them over the edge. I mean, there's been people that have killed over stuff like that. What was his response to you getting full custody?
I don't think he's too worried about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I would. That's a pretty serious court date. So, okay. So, and then did they raise his child support at that second court date that he didn't show up to, or they keep it the same?
They kept the base child support the same,
What
but they did
What is
include
that? What is that amount that he has to
It-
pay monthly?
his base child support amount is $600, but it got upped on the second hearing because I cover her health insurance, so it did go up.
Okay, so they increased the child support, if I understand this correctly, because there's also some medical support that he should be paying as well.
Right.
All right, so and that's pretty standard. I paid child support for I think about 20 years total, and it was the same thing. I had my base child support, which was like $1,100 a month, and then it was also an extra like $200 for medical insurance, and so I know how that works. And I'll tell you something about my child support. So that amount was based on when I was a cop and drawing a pretty big salary. And when I quit, I figured it would be no problem. Once I got another job, I could just go in there and reflect what my current income was, and they would reduce it. Well, getting a hearing was next to impossible. And then when I finally got a hearing, it was decided that the word they used was underemployed. My child support should have dropped down to about $800 a month based on what I was making, according to the law. The law has a prescribed percentage based on your reported income and basically the income that they find. And based on the income that I had reported, it should have been around $800. But as we all know, the courts don't care about the law, and they're going to give the Attorney General's office whatever they want in situations like that. And they kept my child support the same. So for the next, and I tried to address it, and for the next, I don't know, I think 10 years, I did what I had to do to survive, which was pretty hard. I remember myself, but I never stopped paying the child support. I always made sure that child support was on time. I never fell behind, and but I can tell you, even though I paid that money in child support, 2 kids, by the way, not one. So if you're talking about why is Patrick 600 and Jack was 1,200, that's because Patrick has 1 kid. I had 2, but I made sure that child support got delivered. Even when I was stealing food from grocery stores to eat because I didn't have any money left over. And so, yeah. Anyway, but back on Patrick. So Patrick's ordered to pay $600 a month. How much?
Right.
So is he paying his child support? Because I heard he wasn't.
No, he has since, and I just pulled up my little portal because I wanted to make sure I have the most accurate information before I say anything. As of 11/6, he has not made a payment. But
as of November 6th, he has not made a payment.
Right.
And that's as of right now. You pulled it up on an online portal. Go ahead.
Right. And I see a bunch of people saying $600 a month is cheap, and the $600 a month was not issued by the Attorney General's office. The $600 a month was an agreement between me and Patrick when we first separated, because he was demonetized at the time. So I guess kind of what aggravates me the most about the whole situation is I guess you can say that the $600 a month is going easy on him, but I did that because that's what he told me he could afford to pay. And I'm not trying to twist anyone's arm for money. And I see they get a job. Yes, I do have a job. I pay my own bills. I pay my daughter and I's own way, pretty much.
Right on, and I've known that about you myself, but you have. So I've always wondered, because I've heard that Patrick has not provided any type of support whatsoever for his child, and also he's ordered to pay child support, and he's not complying with that order. And you've carried the weight of providing for your child, which you should, right? I'm not going to give you credit. I'm not going to give you credit for doing what you should be doing.
Right.
But you are doing what you're doing, and Patrick is not. So why isn't he in jail yet? If he's not paying his child support, when I was in jail, every time I've been in jail, there have been people in there who just got arrested for not paying their child support. What gives with Patrick?
As far as I understand, it has to reach a certain amount before they kind of take over, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they say what that amount is?
I believe it's 10,000 before they start kind of taking over, and he hasn't quite reached that yet.
So a person has to accrue 10,000 before the Attorney General's office will take some kind of action.
Right.
Wow. And do you know if they've suspended his driver's license yet?
No, I don't think they've taken any action as of yet.
In Texas, and I don't know about other states, but in Texas, when you fall behind on your child support, they don't necessarily haul you off to jail or suspend your driver's license unless you're just not paying it. Mm-hmm. And in Patrick's case, he's not paying a dime. He hasn't paid one dime?
No, not one payment.
So I'm just trying to figure out, who does he know? What county is this that this case is out of, this child support case? Who's administering the child support?
It's Montgomery County.
Montgomery County, Texas. Who in Montgomery County, Texas does he know that is letting him slide on not paying his child support? By God, if anybody's watching right now and you're struggling to pay your child support, if you've been in jail for not paying your child support, understand, Mr. Ed is simply saying, screw you, I am not paying my child support. That's what it appears to be. He hasn't paid a dime. And I do know that he has a cop friend by the name of Todd, not to be confused with Todd Ferguson, but he has a cop friend named Todd that runs license plates for him. That's a story that'll come out eventually. I'm saving that one. But Patrick had his friend Todd running license plates, and he was playing his phone on speaker while this cop was running license plates while the cop was on duty. I can tell you his first name is Todd. I won't give you his whole name, not yet. But and so obviously this cop is doing something illegal. He sympathizes with Patrick, or maybe Patrick buys his drugs from him. I don't know. Eventually I'll let you know, though. I forgot. But the point is that my body cam caught that by accident, because we were out doing audits and my body cam runs the entire time, and Patrick knows it runs all the time. But he was trying to show off how he has a cop that runs license plates. So he put it on speaker to show how big of a man he was, because he had a cop in his pocket. And I didn't think of anything at the time. I mean, who cares? One dirty cop, they're a dime a dozen. But yeah, I got that on body cam. So his friend, by the way, is the one that's giving him all this crappy advice on to fight with me, and I guess probably not to pay his child support, and get LLCs and trust accounts to hide your income from the IRS and the Attorney General's office. So so anyway, so he hasn't paid a dime to the Attorney General's office. $600 a month is all he owes. I mean, he has to pay $600 a month. So in March, April, I'm doing my GED math. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 8 months. 8 times 6 is 36. Plus, if you add 12, that's 48. Minus 2, that's 46. And then if you add 2 to that, that's 48. And then multiply that by 1,000, that's 48,000. But then if you subtract 48,000, that brings it back to 0. So he owes like what, $4,800?
Roughly, yeah.
As of right now, about $4,800?
Roughly.
Okay. That was my GED math for the trolls. Anyway, so he owes $4,800. So he's just $6,000 away from going to jail, maybe. But he's just giving a big screw you to child support. So it seems like they would be more interested in taking care of people who are saying screw you versus taking care of people that are just struggling, but they're trying the best they can to pay. Well, I think we wish you the best on that. Maybe a phone call is in order to figure out what's going on in Montgomery County at the Attorney General's office regarding Mr. Ed not paying his child support. Now, let's talk. Is it that Mr. Ed or Roth, right? You call him Roth?
I do. Honestly, it depends on the conversation that we're having, but most of the time I call him Roth or just
Yeah.
Ed.
So is it? So let me. And I don't want to harp on the guy too bad. I mean, maybe he's struggling. Is he not making enough money to pay his child support? Do you know?
Just a quick question that I saw from Aaron.
Yeah.
Where he says, I thought she said 600 was an agreement between them, not court ordered. So yes, it was agreement that we made together, but I did have it court ordered because I do not trust him. Rightfully so, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So they had an agreement at one time, and I can tell you this because I've seen the documents. I've pulled plenty of public records on Roth. So has my attorney. I've seen the records myself. So while I'm asking Selena how much he pays a month, because I want you guys to hear it from the horse's mouth. Man, let me make sure the stream is still going. I don't know what the hell happened here. All right. Anyway, what I was saying was that even though I'm asking her how much she has to pay, I'm letting her answer, and I'm asking her and letting her answer so that way you guys can hear it from the horse's mouth. But I've seen the documents. I've pulled the records. And we have discovery going on in the lawsuit. And also through informants, I can tell you, I can certify to you that he has to pay $600 a month plus some medical portion. I can tell you that they had an agreement at one time between Selena and correct me if I'm wrong here, Selena. But for the viewers, Selena and Patrick had an agreement that Patrick would pay $600 a month. But as we have learned, with any time you enter in an agreement with Roth, it never turns out very good. Right. So Selena had no choice but to take it to court. And Selena did obtain a court order, a child support order, which is, that's from the Texas Attorney General's office. And he was ordered to pay $600 a month monthly. And then there was a second court date for custody and medical that he didn't even show up to. Now, I can tell you that at the time, and I have recorded conversations, Selena doesn't even know this, but I'll drop a bombshell on everybody. Patrick was told by his cop friend Todd that if he doesn't show up to court, they will reset it. So Patrick wanted to delay the process, and he didn't show up to court. But what Patrick didn't know, this ain't just any old court. This is Montgomery County, one of the hardest county on child support people, and they'll go on without you, and that's exactly what they did. And they awarded custody to Selena, and they ordered additional child support. So just another situation where Patrick was advised incorrectly by his cop friend, his criminal cop friend, and he is a criminal. Make no mistake, his friend Todd, who is currently applying to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, yeah, we know all about it, Todd. He's a criminal cop, and Harris County will know about that as well soon. But anyway, yeah, so that's why Patrick didn't show up to his court date. He explained all that to me when it was going on.
Yeah, that's not what he told me, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and apparently that's what he told Selena too. So he told you he thought that they would just reset it, or they wouldn't be able to enforce it, or whatever.
No, not at all. He told me he got the date mixed up.
Oh, he told Selena he got the date mixed up. Sorry, you don't get the date mixed up. So did he contact the Attorney General's office to tell them he got the date mixed up?
No, I don't think so.
I can confirm he did not. So anyway, because at the same time he was asking me for advice too. What do I do? What do I do? She got custody. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, pay your child support, bro. And show up to your court dates next time. That's all I can tell you. All right. So, yeah. So, for those of you that, might want to give, throw a little bit Selena's way, you can send it to my, I prefer you send it to my PayPal or GoFundMe because
I asked that you do not, though. Because
say that again?
I said I asked that you do not because
okay.
It's nobody else's responsibility except for his.
Are you in need?
No, I make it happen for my child. I work every day. I do what has to be done, and the child support is nobody's responsibility but his.
Okay. All right. Fine.
I appreciate that, though.
Well, I'll buy. How about this? I'll send you a gift card for you and her can go to McDonald's and get one of those child and adult Happy Meals that I heard about. How about that? So you're not in need of any help. So okay, fine. All right, guys, she's not in need of any help. So you don't have to. I'll take it back. No need to send anything. It's not easy raising a kid on your own. So
it's not easy, and trust me, I do.
I just assumed that anything would help, and it's people that have children know it's not cheap and it's not easy, and every little bit helps. But if you're not in need, then so be it. So no need for all that. Let me see here. So I have actually. When we had our Facebook, the Facebook was when we were on there together, and he was able to log in and do the productions and things like that. Access that I allowed him to have. He went on there and he changed bank account information to divert the payments from my account over to his bank account. And by doing that, he didn't realize that he opened up his entire payment history from Facebook. And one night, I saw that. I downloaded it. I shared it with a friend. And his email is news something. And when I typed in news, it self-populated. And Patrick can tell you what happened. It self-populated News Now Patrick, and I didn't catch it. And I sent Patrick the Excel spreadsheet of every single payment that he's ever received from Facebook since he created his account. And it included, it had the last four of the account number, the date of the deposit, all the financials. And Patrick calls me right away. What's this? And this was before I sued him, and I had to play it off. And I'm like, oh man, I was just wanting to show you. did you know that Facebook has this available for me to see? I didn't want you, I didn't think you would believe me, so I just sent it to you, dude. Do something about that. Take it off. Well, he did. He did. He made some more changes and took it off. But it was too late. I already saw every bit of money that he made up until June. And so I can tell you, Patrick can pay his child support. In fact, let me can somebody do a little bit of math for me? Because my math ain't so good with my GED. Take $1.12 million, $1.12 million, and multiply that by 21%. Can somebody tell me what that number is? $1.21 million. Multiply that by 21%. I need to know what 21% of that is. Because 21% is what Patrick or anybody in the state of Texas, 21% of their income is what they have to pay in base child support for one child. That's a matter of law. The reason the Texas Attorney General's office, $252,000, more or less. I'm not looking for exact change here. Somebody says 235.2. Somebody says 252.2. Obviously, one of these guys is a fellow GED recipient. Salute to you. But anyway, thank you guys for trying. But more or less, it's around $250,000. So Patrick made 1.21 million, 1.12. So one of those numbers. I'll provide a spreadsheet. I don't want to get into that and try to put it up on here where I might screw things up. So I'll put that on my community page. The total amount that he made in 2021, and it was around $1.2 million. And so based on the amount that he, and I remember I was doing the calculations, based on the amount that he made for that year, his monthly child support obligation would be $250,000 a month. Wait. Hold on. 21% is $252,000. No. That would be if he made $1 million a month. So take that $252,000 and okay, guys, I need your help again. Take $252,000. Take $250,000. $250,000. Divide that by 12. What's that come out to? Because that would be the monthly amount. $250,000 divided by 12 is the monthly amount. What does that come out to? He made one. Yeah, Aaron Walker. His Facebook channel did bring in that amount. It is very possible.
It is very, very possible.
Oh, there's not a cap on the amount of income that Texas. It's 21%. It's 21%. Somebody said $2,500 a month. Man, you didn't pass your GED, bro. Come on. Yeah, that's the number I was looking for. It's around $20,000 a month or a little bit more. So based on the income that his employer, Meta, right? Facebook is now Meta. They're out of California. His employer, Facebook, Meta, based on their income for the year of 2021, he should be paying around $20,000 a month in child support. And based on his recorded conversations that he's had with other people who are recording him and giving them right to me, he's claiming he's monetized again and he's making $1,000 a day. And I can tell you, when my Facebook was monetized before we got demonetized, which, by the way, I'm back monetized again. In July, in August, it made $27,000, and in September, it made $24,000, and it was only monetized for the first 2 weeks. and it still made 24,000 for those first 2 weeks. We were in line to make 60,000 for that month. It is possible. It takes a lot of work. A lot of work. It takes a lot of work. I start my day at 6 in the morning and I don't stop till 9 at night every day. There's a ton of things that you have to do. It's not for everybody, but yeah, it can be done. As with most millionaires. And by the way, I work for TX Sheepdog 72 for free. I'm the face of TX Sheepdog 72, but I'm not the owner. I volunteer my services. I do have a full-time job as a dialysis technician that I work at. So anyway, let's just not get that twisted, because I know that the Alphabet boys are watching and they're trying to figure out, how does he get a court-appointed attorney if he's making all this money? I don't make shit. The owner of TX Sheepdog 72 does. So anyhow, yeah, 20 grand is what he should be on the hook for. And the elephant in the room, yes, I did send all that information over to the Texas Attorney General's office to attach to his case. And I am in communication with them because I can prove and provide testimony as to his income. Because that information I sent to them is not something that they can just go get. Plus, again, they were unable to find this money because there's no... Roth does not exist to Facebook. Because I guarantee you, his Facebook is in somebody else's name. No, I'll take that back. His Facebook is under NNP 97 LLC. But the W-9 that is sent to Facebook isn't under that LLC. And it's not under Patrick Roth. It can't be. Because if it was, the Attorney General's office would have been able to pull up that information. They have access to that information. But they couldn't because Patrick Roth doesn't exist with the IRS. So that information that I provided them, I would need to certify that that information is true and correct and where it came from. And that where it came from, I obtained it legally. So I have all those records. I obtained that information legally. He made it available to me. So anyway, 20 grand. But aside from the 20 grand that may end up happening, Stu Smith says $900 a max per month. I don't know. You need to put down the Texas child support law for dummies. Stop reading out of that book. I was paying $1,200 a month plus medical. It's 21% and it's based on your income. So I don't know where you're talking about. Anyway, so the point is that Patrick can afford to pay $20,000 a month if he was paying 21% of what he makes. But he can't even pay the $600 a month. So who's tired of Patrick saying, screw you to the AG, screw you to this person, screw you to that person. I'm going to call the cops and say you're doing something and get you arrested like he did with Floyd. And Floyd had no idea that was happening. Screw you, Floyd. Screw you, Jack. I'm going to try to take your Facebook from you. And then when I realize how much trouble I'm going to get into, I'm going to give it back to you. And then I'm going to try to take a bunch of money. He said he paid his attorney $25,000 retainer. This was in September. He paid his attorney a $25,000 retainer. He found a Harvard-educated attorney that can't spell petitions correctly and can't write them correctly. Anyway, he found a Harvard attorney. I guess he thought that was going to scare me away. In reality, that just means he's paying more for his attorney than I am. But anyway, he paid that attorney, he claims he paid that attorney $25,000, but he can't pay a single dime to support his child? Are you tired of that? This is the truth. So, I know some of these questions you may not want to answer, but was he banging that stripper when y'all were together? Is that why y'all split up?
That I do not know. It's not the reason that we split up, though, because I don't know. But I left in January for a bunch of different reasons, but that I don't really want to get into. But it wasn't a healthy relationship any longer. I think it was to a point where we both weren't happy. So
Well, I'm gonna break some news to you, and I know it's not gonna bother you. You're already done with this dude, and you're happily, what is it? Happily disgruntled.
happy gruntled is what I believe somebody had put in the comments earlier.
But yeah, he was banging that stripper when y'all were together.
Nothing nothing surprises me
I have
anymore.
recorded phone calls to prove it. And you remember when you and him were down at my house?
I do.
Do you remember when we went out to get some tacos, and when we came home, me and Patrick were having an argument?
I do.
Mm. So we lied about why we were arguing, but Patrick didn't want to talk to me, and I was like, "Fuck you." What happened was when we went over to get tacos, he got a phone number from the waitress he was hitting on her, and he got her fucking phone number. And I told him, dude, throw that fucking number out the door, bro. You got a kid, and all that stuff. I think, were you pregnant at the time?
I think I was pregnant at the time. Yes.
You got a kid on the way. You got a girl that loves you to death. And you're out here fucking trying to fuck other... Dude, not around me, man. I don't play that shit. And that's what we started arguing about. He kept the number anyway. And then every time we were out auditing, like the next day, when he was trying to call that chick, I was trying to go live and get the phone, to get the conversation, and I would be recording him when he was doing it. So he couldn't call the chick because I would be recording him. I told him, I'm going to give this over to Selena, you dumb motherfucker. And so he was pissed off about that too. That's why we stopped auditing earlier. But yeah.
It doesn't surprise me anymore because I said there was many reasons why I left, but
Yeah.
one of the reasons was I do know about an affair that he had in August that I had found out about because the girl had come to me about it. So that was one of the reasons, but there were several reasons. About as far as his new girlfriend, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the other stuff, but it doesn't surprise me,
Not filing with the back on the IRS stuff and back on his income. So he definitely makes enough money to pay $600 a month, but he's not doing that. I think pressure needs to be put on him by the Attorney General's office to pay that. It's ridiculous. I know he just purchased a brand new Corvette, brand spanking new, right off the lot. Probably paid $80,000-$90,000 for it. I know he did that because his stripper ex-girlfriend left him after breaking the windows on his Porsche that he had. He had a Porsche SUV. In fact, he was driving the Porsche SUV when he came up here prior to us, our relationship going south, and she didn't like that SUV because it was an SUV, and she's more of a single, ready to mingle type chick, not a family, starting a family. She's definitely not start a family material. You know what I mean? So who knows what the children will come out looking like? I mean, they could look like all kinds of dudes, and so she didn't like that SUV. She called that a family car, and so she left him. She split up with him, and he goes out and buys a brand new Corvette, and now she's back with him. That relationship's gonna last forever. But anyway, so he definitely can afford that. I understand that he's selling his house, and let me see. Let me check what he's selling his house for. Hold on just a second. I got his address. Where did I put his address at? Shit. Man,
Do you mind if I answer questions while you're looking for that information?
Yeah, answer questions. Talk to the people.
Okay. Yeah, because I see Las Vegas Freedom News asked, what did you see in Patrick from the beginning? So, I met Patrick when I was 18, and he was 19, I believe, at the time. And it was very much a first love for me thing. So, I feel like that's why it took so long. And then it took me a very long time to see the light, I guess is what my dad used to tell me. But and then you know what, I did get the most beautiful gift out of it. I have a daughter that I love more than anything in this world. So yeah, there's that question.
Yeah, look at the other questions and see if you want to answer
Just
some.
just a little tidbit about the Corvette, just to you know, if you guys, the last conversation I had with Patrick was actually, gosh, when did I talk to him last? When did we announce that we were doing this live stream, Jack?
A couple of days ago.
So a couple days ago. It's the last time I heard from him. But he told me that he does not have the Corvette, that he just test drove the Corvette, even though he sent me a picture of the Corvette and said, this is my new car. But then after you released that, he says he doesn't have it. So you never know with him, honestly.
Well, the informants, he does have it.
I never know what to.
So I got people that are watching him because whenever they do come out with these criminal charges, I'm gonna see that he's arrested as soon as possible, and so basically the way that works is that if the DA here issues the warrant for his arrest, I will push for the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force to be involved. They're a statewide group of officers that get together in local jurisdictions, and they find people that are running from the police that have warrants. And so knowing where he's living at all times is important to me. You know, and there's nothing he can do about it. I can say this all day long. It doesn't matter that he knows. He's being watched, and he's being he's being monitored, so that way we know his location whenever they do finally issue the warrant. And so there you go. So I do know I have his address here. Anyway, I think his house was like $360,000. I want to say it was around $360,000 is what he's selling his house for, and he stands to make around $60,000 profit off of that. At least that's what it was going for on Zillow, and this is not his old house in that gated community. This is the other one where he did his live stream at. I'm not going to give anybody his address. I was just going to look up. I was going to look up the selling price of his home. I would not put his address out for the world to see. He's screwed off. He's screwed over way too many people. If I put his address out, that wouldn't be a community guideline strike. That would be attempted murder, I think, because that would just. I mean, there's so many people that he screwed over that I'd be hiding in a bunker underground if I were him. You know, I'd be scared. Mentioning that, being scared, there's rumor. Well, it's not rumor, okay? Like I said, I know the answer to this because I went down there and visited him. We went to the strip club a few times, and he has hired security. At the time, he had a Houston police officer doing unauthorized security because basically the Houston police officer could walk into these strip clubs, flash his badge, and they'd let him carry a gun. And he, you know, this cop would be in there drinking a little bit, smoking blunts. Patrick is allowed to smoke blunts in the strip club.
Sorry, my daughter was having a meltdown for a second, but she's fine.
Patrick and his security is sitting there smoking blunts in the strip club that he would go to, the one that he met his chick out. He's going to a new one now, but and so he can afford. So he would pay this security $450 for the night, which consisted of about 5 hours. And sometimes he would pay him more. Plus, he would buy him lap dances, and he would buy him prostitutes to go bang. Then, I mean, at least the night when I was there, he got some prostitutes. Since I was there, he felt safe enough to let his security step off to the back for a minute. But sometimes he'll bring 2 securities. So he's paying upwards of $1,000 for his security for the night so he can go to the strip club. At least when I went down there, he brought in $10,000 in cash. And he gives it to the manager. to put in a safe. Why? I guess that buys him friends. They treat him like royalty. We don't have to walk. We don't have to get wanded down. We can park where we want. We could do anything we want in that strip club. And me, I just drink a little bit, got a few lap dances, and watch some girls strip. That's all I do. But, anyway. The point is that he's paying for security. That night we went to the strip club. We went to the strip club 2 nights. And I estimate that he spent $5,000 in that strip club. Between his drinks, my drinks, his weed, his security, buying drinks for everybody else, trying to hit on the strippers there, buying them all kinds of drinks and shit, sending them cash apps, sending them stuff on their OnlyFans, trying to get laid, which, by the way, he's horrible at doing that. When he banged that stripper the second night, I set that up because he almost got his ass kicked the first night. I mean, how can you almost get your ass kicked and fail at banging a stripper where 90% of the strippers there are also banging dudes? And so, amazing. But anyway, he's spending all that money, but he can't pay his child support. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm not trying to call him out on as far as like make him look bad. These are facts. These are facts. I'd like him to just support his kid. Is what I'd like to do, or like him to do. But apparently he has other plans for his money.
Another quick question I wanted to answer.
Is Patrick trying? Don't block Patrick. If Patrick gets on here, don't block him. I actually sent a invitation to Patrick to join the live stream. If he calls, I'll put him on. I will put him on and let him. I mean, if I'm lying, if Selena's lying, this is your chance to tell your side of the story. But I doubt he'll take that. But don't block him. Patrick has a full invitation to say anything he wants on my channel. I will not, I'm not going to pull a Justin, and I'm not going to pull a Patrick and block the people that I'm talking about. That's what Patrick does. I won't do that. Justin and Patrick can get on here. I'm not saying, no beef with Justin, but I'm just saying that's what Justin did. He blocked me on every possible way that I could say anything in response to his bullshit. So it's a good tactic to use if you want to hide the truth. Alex Jones does that. Biden does that. Trump does that. So, but I don't do it.
Hey Jack, there was a question I wanted to answer real quick.
Go for it.
Robert Wolf, one of your questions, I just wanted to say, there was a lot of negative things that happened in my relationship with Patrick, but a lot of it I'm still healing from mentally and emotionally, so I'm not quite ready to talk about yet. But eventually I will be there, I think, hopefully.
Right, yeah. No, we all, I think we all get that. There's a lot of things that you're not ready to talk about. So if you guys are asking some questions, she may not be wanting to talk about certain things. Maybe in time she will. Look, make no mistake here. Selena is the victim here. Selena is the victim. And she's the victim of Roth. Simple as that. In more ways than one. Roth's daughter. How old is your daughter, Selena?
She will be 3 in April.
Roth's 3-year-old daughter is a victim here. My father never paid child support. He was not in my life. He didn't pay child support. And I came from a poor family. And my mom and dad did everything they could to provide for me. But I know how that feels. And I know how that feels to have a parent that does not want to support you. And I know how that feels. And it's not nice. So, 3-year-old. 3-year-old. Now Patrick's at the level of victimizing 3-year-olds. Pay your child support, Roth. What's the problem?
Also, PB says hearing about all this stripper stuff, I'm sure it doesn't help the healing process. None of that affects me. None of what he has going on in his life right now affects me, so I assure you that's fine. I'm just mostly concerned about our common interest. So the whole, his now life, I assure you, he's living his life, and I'm trying to move on and live my life.
Right on. And if there was something I was saying that you didn't like, you would let me know, and I would stop that.
I would let you know. Yes.
And just so you guys know I can be a little abrasive. But I did talk to Selena prior to this production and let her know that if I said anything that was hurtful or that she didn't want me to talk about or say, just to let me know, and I would stop that out of respect for her. The facts are the facts. Pay your child support, Roth. Disgusting. And I understand that you're not just a victim of his infidelities and his cheating and his stealing and his you're also a victim of something that he's currently out on bond from, I think, Harris County, if my records that I received serve me correctly. He's currently out on bond for a charge that you are listed as the victim on, and there is a protective order in place.
I don't think there's a protective order in place. I just think it's a bond condition that he has to abide by.
That's right. There's bond conditions.
Because we still have a common interest.
Right.
So,
there's bond conditions prohibiting him from threatening you, harassing you, things like that.
Right.
Basically, the things that are in a protective order, they just didn't do a protective order, or you didn't do a protective order, but it's as part of his bond conditions. And if he were to harass you or threaten you, he could have his bond violated. And
right.
So
I can't speak too much on that incident because it's still ongoing. So, but
okay, all right. So you can't talk about that because that's an ongoing criminal prosecution.
Right.
Can you confirm what the charge is, at least?
I think the only thing he was actually charged with was...
I know that they were, from the records that I uncovered, they were toying around with domestic violence, assault with bodily injury. They were toying around with, I think, abuse or interfering with 911, strangulation. That's where you strangle somebody.
Interfering with 911 is the only thing that was actually officially charged, I believe.
Okay, so there's only one charge, and that's the interfering with the 911 call.
Right.
And and Selena can't talk about this, but I can tell you what I've uncovered. I have the police report, so I can tell you what I know about that situation. The police were called on a 911 hang-up. That means somebody attempted to call 911, or I'm sorry, called 911. They pick up, and then the line goes dead. So that's why the officers were Harris County Sheriff's Office. Harris County Sheriff's, right?
Yes,
Harris County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to his home not the home he lives at currently, dispatched to his home and for a 911 hang-up. So they get there, and they quickly determine that Patrick and Selena were having some type of domestic argument. During the course of their investigation, they believed that there may have been an assault that took place, and also they believed that they had that Patrick had caused the phone to hang up with 911 intentionally to prevent Selena from talking to 911, which in Texas is a serious crime. According to the police report, it seems that Selena was reluctant to give a whole lot of details. She exercised her right to remain silent, plead the fifth, but she was able, she did say some things that, and I'm not going to judge her for talking or not talking. I'm not a victim of family violence. I don't know what goes through a victim's head when the police are there and your abuser is standing there, I don't know how scared you are of telling the police the truth if you're being abused. But according to the police report, they believe that she was reluctant to tell them all the facts. And based on their observations, they believed that they at least had enough probable cause, based on statements that were given by him and her, that he did interfere with the 911 call. He was arrested for interfering with the 911 call, taken to jail, and the assault family violence was sent, forward to be investigated. And the investigation, they couldn't get a hold of Selena. They couldn't develop enough information. They would need everything from Selena, and they were not able to get the information they needed to establish probable cause for the assault family violence charge, the assault with bodily injury. And so, look, if the police don't have probable cause, they can't go charging you. But they believe they had probable cause for the other charge, so that's still pending. Selena can't talk about that. The police report is available. If you want to do a records request through Harris County Sheriff's Office, you can get that. They will release it. And then, or you can just wait for me to put it out. Eventually, I'll put that out. It's not hard to believe that, if I were on a jury and they said Roth whooped on a chick, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't take very much to convince me, based on what I know. Okay, so let's see. I think we got no child support, Corvettes. We talked, the Xanax, Selena's not on here to bash Patrick, and she's not going to talk about anything that she can't prove. But I will, because I can prove it. Xanax. So he doctor shops. He has a Xanax addiction, and he doctor shops. And what doctor shopping is, that's when you go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, using fake IDs, things like that, or you're just using your own name and getting prescription after prescription after prescription. At least that's what he was doing back when him and Nomad visited my home, because I was in the car while they were doing this. At first, I thought they were just going to see a doctor about medical stuff, but then I realized we're at a psychiatrist's office. And then they were like, oh, well, that doctor wasn't available. So then we went to another one. Well, that doctor wasn't taking new patients. So then we went to another one. While Nomad and Patrick are inside there, I'm out in the car, because I didn't care to go inside. And one of their phones was ringing off the hook, and I'm thinking, well, maybe somebody's in trouble. So I open up the backpack to get the phone, and there's like 5 bottles of Xanax in this bag. And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of pills. And I look, and it's all Xanax. And the last 2 doctors we went to, they're on there. They're both those doctors' offices are on these Xanax bottles. And it looked like the sample bottles that they give. And then in there was prescriptions, a bunch of prescriptions, but they just threw the 2 prescriptions that they got from both of these doctors were right on the top. So no, they actually got prescriptions and some sample Xanax. That's what they did when they were here at my house. From what I understand, from when I was visiting Patrick back when we went to the strip club and stuff, he doesn't do that anymore because he was afraid of them catching up to him, because you do get busted if you're doctor shopping. And then also the addiction requires you to take more pills and more pills. So it comes to a point where you can't satisfy that with just the regular doctor shopping route. So he was getting them illegally through a drug dealer, while I was there at least. And these are facts, and I can prove it. I've never trusted that dude as far as I could throw him. So you better believe everything I did with him was recorded. Alright, so then we talked about strippers. Anybody have any questions about strippers, let me know. And by the way, I don't have anything against strippers or having girlfriends as strippers. But bro, if you're going to say you're with a stripper, make sure she looks like a stripper. Cause his chick don't look like no stripper. She looks like she could work at the meat market selling you bacon. So I'm just saying. When I heard about her, I was like, oh, I gotta see this. And he was always talking about the titties. Man, when she came, I got bigger titties than her. So it's not impressive at all. But anyway, and then let's see. Oh, hot chicks. I promised people I was going to talk about hot chicks. Can you talk about this hot chick thing that's going on, or are you going to leave me to talk about that?
Okay.
Because people know. People have, well, they don't know for sure, but they have this rumor. They have an idea. Can we put the rumors to rest on what actually happened with this, quote, hot chick?
Okay, so I will discuss what happened. I'm actually hoping, though, on...
Now, I understand. Now, before you start to talk, understand, I do know that there might possibly be a criminal prosecution. So just be careful what you say and make sure you preserve the criminal prosecution. I mean, you haven't done anything wrong, but you don't want to help him get his story straight because he's going to lie, cheat, and steal to get past this.
Right.
And from what I know, there's nothing that you can say that would allow him to get past this. So
I'm just trying to tread lightly because on his behalf, I guess, he is, according to him, going to make this right. I did speak with him on Sunday. As soon as we announced that we were doing this live stream, he called me and we had a very long conversation. But back, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months after we separated. He had called me and told me that he had gotten into a car accident and had wrecked his car pretty badly and was needing to get it fixed so that he would have a vehicle. Now, he didn't know how he was going to do this, and he wanted to know if I could let him borrow some money. Being the person that I am, and this is in no way, I don't hate him. I'm not trying to bash him in any way. I do care about him. I was with him for 5 years. Of course, I can't say I don't care about him. But I had said, yes, I would be more than willing to let you borrow money, but I have to know that you're good for it. So he decided that, hey, in order to borrow this money from you, I'm going to write you this check so that you know that I'm good for this money. Here you go. I let him borrow the money. Months go by, and he's like pretty much reluctant on paying me back. And I hated to be the bad guy. And see, this is just part of, and I know I'm not the bad guy, technically, but I hated backing anybody into a corner, and I would most in the world hate to put charges on anybody for anything. But at the end of the day, I have to do what I have to do for me and my kid. And, but I did speak with him on Sunday, and he, according to him, will be making this right before it goes any further.
Okay, yeah, and then that's reasonable. You're a very nice person. If I were to ever write a hot check, I would want to do it with you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. My kindness tends to be taken for weakness sometimes, and
I've known that about you. You're an extremely nice and understanding person. Definitely a catch, and for any guy that's lucky enough to catch you, and you're right. Some guys or some people will take that kindness as a weakness, and I'm sorry that you have to experience that, but you certainly have a right to be as reasonable as possible with him, regardless of what anybody thinks. I think you should take that check and drug him up, and then while he's sleeping, take that check and give him 1,000 paper cuts all over his body. Nothing fatal. Just give him a bunch of paper cuts with that check on his penis. That would be what I would want to do. But you can be as reasonable as you want, regardless of what I think you should do.
But no, I have taken action on the issue. But he was given an amount of time to take care of it, and I spoke with him on Sunday. And the great thing about this video, Jack, is I think it kind of lit a fire underneath him to take care of it. Besides what I already went and did, but on his behalf and his slight benefit, very slight, because he should have taken care of this a long time ago, he is supposedly going to be taking care of this on Wednesday the 9th, but I will definitely keep you updated.
So he's supposed to be taking care of the hot check by paying you for that on the 9th. And
Right.
but did he talk about the child support, paying the child support at all?
Last thing he said about that is that he will pay me what he decides to pay me, and I'll have to deal with it. But that's just Patrick, of course.
Okay. Well, my advice to you is to make sure you record everything, and because it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Right.
I wish you all the best with the child support. It would in a perfect world, Patrick would be involved in his daughter's life. He would be supporting his daughter. But unfortunately, in life, sometimes that doesn't happen. It's no reflect on who you are. You keep up the fight and keep doing what I know you do, and I wish you all the best dealing with him. And then, so is there anything else that you want to touch on before I cut you off? Because I'm going to start haggling on Patrick here. Or,
Okay. Before you start, I'll go because I just wanted to finally say that, obviously, we discussed this earlier. This is in no way me being hateful. I do not hate Patrick. And I made it very clear to Jack that I only wanted to discuss things that I knew 100% to be fact, because I don't want to have a, we all hate Patrick conversation,
Yeah, this
I think
was not the purpose of this. While I have Selena on the phone, was not to have a Patrick bashing situation. We're only going to talk about facts, important facts. People are asking questions. We're answering those questions. I might provide a little commentary. I try to be a little funny sometimes. Sometimes what I say isn't funny. Que sera, sera. Go fuck yourself if you don't laugh. Or you take exception to what I say. But that's not what Selena's saying. Selena doesn't promote that. She's coming on to put the record straight. And Patrick was invited to rebut, but he's not going to do that. There is one question somebody asked. Let's see here. Somebody asked if they were doing Xanax and hydrocodone. I only saw Xanax. And then somebody said, oh, you opened up the bag and then you just ignored them breaking the law. I have no duty to report somebody breaking the law. So, screw you on that. And then somebody said, you never trusted Patrick, but you went into business with him. I didn't go into business with Patrick. I hired Patrick to do a job for me. Much like, in my lifetime, when I was in the military, I would hire chicks who would blow for anything, and I would hire them to blow me. And I didn't give a damn whether I didn't trust them either, but I hired them to do a job. It happened to be a blow job. Patrick's job was producing videos. I don't have to trust you to hire you to do a job. If I hire you to cut my grass, I just got to trust that you know how to cut grass. I trusted that Patrick, and I knew that Patrick had a unique talent for the production and administration of social media, and I hired him to do that job, and I paid him handsomely. So to answer your question why I would do that with somebody I don't trust, I don't need to trust you. In fact, to that troll that asked the question, if you ever want to come to my house, I will pay you to give me a hand job, and I don't trust you. But I'll pay you, and I'll even pay for your ride over here. All right. Let's see here. And Nasty Nathaniel, a very long-time friend, a great guy. I don't know if you know who he is, Selena, but he's an auditor.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's an auditor out of California, I think. In California, I think this is where he lives now. But anyway, he's reminding me about the night that we went to Hooters and had some margaritas. It was such a fun night, and he says, and I'm glad I got to meet you. So Nathaniel came into town, and we met up. I wanted to meet him. He wanted to meet me. We went out, did some auditing, and then we ended the night by going to Hooters and having some margaritas. And what was funny is that Nathaniel is gay, and me and him are at Hooters, and it was just great. And what was funny to me also is that Nancy and Nathaniel, being gay, we're at Hooters, and he's not a big meat eater. So I was like, what? No, that's just a joke. But anyway, yeah, we had a great night, and I'm glad to have met Nancy and Nathaniel as well. Good people there, good people. Yeah, so now they're just talking about mine and Patrick's ordeal. So please look up the cap jack. It's $9,200 a month. Oh, $9,200 a month. Somebody said $920 a month, and I'm like, I was paying more than that. So somebody's saying that the cap is $9,200 a month. Well, even if it's $9,200 a month, then that's what he's going to be paying. But what is the cap on arrearages? Because I know for a fact, when you're hiding income from the Attorney General's office, they can go ask the court for whatever amount they want in arrearages. They will go into court and they will say he made $1.2 million last year. Here's the proof. We want 21% of that tacked on as arrearages. They'll say, well, how much has he paid so far? So they can subtract that from the amount. And in this case, the answer will be 0. He hasn't paid anything. And advice to Patrick. This is because I know he's watching. Advice to Patrick. Pay your child support now. Catch that child support up. Because when the Attorney General's office goes into the court and shows them all of the income that you've been hiding and that you hid from them, your record is going to matter to what the judge decides. It doesn't matter what attorney, bro, you hire. You can walk in there with a group of attorneys. It's child support court. You've never dealt with child support court. And anybody that has dealt with child support will tell you the cards are stacked against you. You think you've seen tyranny? You haven't seen tyranny yet until you step into a child support court as a dad who has to pay child support. There won't be anything you do that will help you. So what you should do is get your record looking good. Walking into that court, not having paid a single dime towards your court-ordered child support is going to screw you. And you're going to end up with $200,000 in back child support that you will have to pay. That will follow you for the rest of your life until you pay it. And it's 1% interest per month. So at a minimum, what's 1% of 250,000? 25,000? At a minimum, Patrick, you will have to pay 25. Wait, I don't know. It might GED. You're gonna have to pay one. It's gonna accrue 1% interest per month, and they tack that on every month. 1%. What's 1% of 200 and what's 1% of 200,000? Is it like $2,000? What is it? What is it? Somebody tell me what that is. Shit, I need to get out my calculator, Selena. You got a calculator? What's 1% of 200 grand? Fuck, let's cut it in half. What's 1% of 100 grand? Let's make it a little easier.
1,000. So you were right. 2,000 would be.
Yeah. So if they even cut that in half to 100,000 in back child support, Patrick will have to pay $1,000 a month just to break even and cover the interest. That's on top of the $9,200 a month in child support. Patrick, you need to get your shit together. Start paying your $600 now. Selena is somebody you need to make happy. Not fuck over with bad checks and strippers and Corvettes. That's what you need to do. Wake up. That's advice from me to you. I could give a rat's ass what you do. I hope you don't pay your child support and you get picked up and you get a News Now dicking down in jail. But that's just me. So anyway, that's all we got, guys. Thank you guys for joining, and more to
Thank
come.
you for all the questions and all the. I see Tim. I've read all your lovely words. I appreciate that.
Who did you talk about there?
Huh?
Who did you talk about there?
Oh, we were saying goodbye, so I was like, just saying, shout out Tim. I see your comments. I appreciate them. I know late night 702 had said hi earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you, Jack.
That's okay.
So I was just saying highs and byes to everyone. I don't in any way want anybody to feel bad for me, because I see that one too. Please don't feel bad for me. I'm doing what needs to be done for me and my kids. So this was just something Jack asked me if I wanted to come on and talk about it, because of course he can talk about it all day long, but as far as somebody who's going to know exactly what's going on would be me. But
yeah, and you don't have to take my word for it. And people are always asking me questions, and frankly, I'm like, hey man, it's better idea somebody talk about it that actually knows. Thank you for coming on. It takes courage to do that, and I wish you all the best, Selena.
Thank you. And I still pop my head in every now and again and see what's going on. I don't follow the auditing community as closely anymore as I used to, but
by the way, just so you know, I have appointed myself as the Roth Child Support Monitoring Extraordinaire. I will follow this guy for the rest of my life, or his life, whichever ends first, and make sure that when he stops paying his child support again, gonna be walnut like white on rice. So, because dads, you need to support parents, not just dads, but parents need to support their children. In this case, you're doing it, he's not, and I don't like that. So,
I appreciate your time, Jack.
While I'm not taking it to bad cops, I'll be taking it to him and make sure that he gets his child support paid. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, all right. I'm going to talk to some of my followers and also some jackasses that are on here.
Okay, I'm seeing some comments. Unusual Suspects 3802. Thank you. Desert Goat, of course. Thank you. CJ, thank you. Everybody that took the time out of their day to listen to me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, good night.
I might still poke around in the chat if I have time, but bedtime's coming up in about 15 minutes, so I got to go take care of that.
Right on. Okay, Selena. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Jack. Talk to you later.
All right, bye. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to go through some comments right quick. And then hopefully, let's see. Top troll. So you're racist? I don't know. Jack sounds really butthurt. Don't worry about my butt, man. Say Jack seems butthurt. Don't worry about my butt and how my butt's feeling. That's just weird. That is just weird. And my microphone here. Gotta get this microphone. Man, I gotta fix my setup. I gotta hire somebody to fix my setup. Somebody said, "Oh, you hired Patrick, and what does that say about you if he's so bad?" It says that I recognized a person with a skill and I hired them to perform that skill for me. And it also says, I don't give a shit what you think about that. Why would anybody want to work with me? Well, I already have somebody again doing it. So, what can I say? All right. And somebody asked me one time, why did I pay him so much? Because I don't care about that money. I make my own money. I do just fine. And, you know, I don't need a whole lot in life. I need a roof over my head. I need food in my stomach. I need a vehicle to go and work where I love working, and that's at a dialysis clinic. As a dialysis technician, I get to be a person directly involved with the care of someone that desperately needs to be cared for. And I enjoy that. And as long as I can do that, that's really all I want in life. Family, friends, that's it. It doesn't require a lot of money. So I don't mind paying somebody handsomely for doing a service for me. So, and I don't care if I like you or I trust you. If I want you to cut my grass, like I said, as long as you can cut my grass, I don't care what you do. And Patrick does have a skill for social media. And I needed a person that has the skill to produce videos and has a creative side, things like that. Now, he doesn't have very much of a creative side, but he does know how to post other people's stuff. And, you know, my plan was to have him post my stuff, and then when he took over the Facebook, he started posting all of somebody else's stuff. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Going through my say, you need a new printer, yo. Wilma Dickfit says, I like that name, Wilma Dickfit. Says I need a new printer. Hey, I need a new printer. Y'all want to pitch in for a new printer? Maybe one of those laser printers. That'd be great. I do print out a lot of stuff. I print out a lot of complaints. I print out petitions. Something you guys may not know is that I spend a lot of my time lawyering people up, getting them, coordinating them and a lawyer hooking up whenever their rights are violated. I probably spend 70% of my time and effort doing that. Currently, there are 3 lawsuits that I'm a plaintiff in here locally on stuff that y'all have seen. Yes, lawsuits are filed whenever we can't get resolution otherwise. We take those matters into a court in the form of a lawsuit. We have no choice. And then whenever other people get their rights violated, I get right on that and try to get a hold of them, talk to them, figure out what's going on, gather facts, and present that to an attorney, see what they think about it. And then if they're interested, then I recommend that attorney to that person. And I do that. I don't get anything. I don't get any kickbacks from it. I don't get any money from it. I don't get a referral fee. That's out of the kindness of my heart. I enjoy doing it because I believe that the fastest way and the only way that we're going to change cops from committing crimes and violating rights is to have their cities stop it. And the only way we're going to have the cities stop it is to have their insurance company cut check after check after check. And their insurance company is the Texas Municipal League. You guys look that up at some point. Texas Municipal League. They are the money behind all of this criminal, bad behavior you see in Texas. I know it's easy to be mad at the police that are committing the crimes and doing the bad stuff and violating rights. I know it's easy to be mad at the cities and the counties and the governments that are allowing this. I know it's easy to be mad at the tyrannical judges who enjoy judicial immunity and ignore the law. But think for a second. There's this old saying, follow the money. We have a problem that is not stopping. It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. The police officers are just ramping up the things they're doing to citizens who are holding them accountable and not committing crimes. Just yesterday, C.J. Grisham, an attorney. He's an attorney, C.J. Grisham. was video recording a traffic stop in which somebody made a wide right turn, and he's their attorney. And he was a lot nicer than I was, but nevertheless, the police end up arresting him. Because when they were done with their traffic stop and they told him they were done with their traffic stop, he crossed the street to go talk to his clients. And they arrested him for a crime that is not even on the books. They charged him with pedestrian in a roadway. That law is not even on Texas law books. It used to be. Around 2016 or so, they took that law off the books. Now it's only a crime if you enter a roadway and you enter into the path of a vehicle and you don't yield. That's a crime, but it's not a crime to enter a roadway. And they charged him with this, and they knew. They know better. And they don't care. They released him with a court date. So, just yesterday, another situation where police have caused what will be a lawsuit, and guess who's paying for it? It's not the cop, it's not the city. It's the Texas Municipal League. So in one sense, they're the ones cutting the checks, and that's the money we have to go after. And if you go after somebody's money, then they start to listen, because right now they don't give a shit. They have over $500 million in the risk management fund for situations like this. This is the, quote, insurance that Kelly Kunstler said they had for civil rights violations in Leon Valley. The Texas Municipal League, look them up. They got phone numbers. They have addresses where you can send them mail. They have emails, so on and so forth. I say, whenever you see an officer doing something stupid, like arresting somebody for a crime that doesn't exist, I think Texas Municipal League needs to be made aware of another reason to write a check. Because let me tell you, just this recently, it has become a reality for Texas Municipal League. Writing a check has become a reality for Texas Municipal League because in the Zinter versus Salvaggio case, the Leon Valley Zinter versus Salvaggio case, the Texas Municipal League cut a check about 3 weeks ago. And we've been waiting because we wanted to make sure the check cleared before we piss them off. Not that they care. They got plenty. They have plenty of money. They got over $500 million. Something like $700 million. $700 million. And just the interest alone, they can cut these kinds of checks. But they cut a $500,000 check to settle the Zinter versus Salvaggio lawsuit. That's the amount that they paid out to settle the lawsuit. $500,000. That doesn't even count their legal fees. We estimate that the Zinter suit with legal fees and the $500,000 cost the Texas Municipal League $1.4 million. So just with this one case, the Texas Municipal League lost $1.4 million with $500 to the plaintiffs and the rest in attorney fees. And that's just one check. I myself have coordinated 4 lawsuits in the past 3 years that have settled that the TML has written checks for, totaling almost $700,000 in total. Currently, there are, I think, 6 or 7 that I myself have coordinated lawsuits that are filed and pending. Not that I'm a plaintiff in, but lawsuits where I saw somebody get their rights violated here in Texas, and I reached out to them, contacted them, established a relationship with them, gathered facts, gathered as much as I could, and presented it in a way to an attorney in a vernacular that they understand, to get their eyes on the situation. And when they were interested in the case and they expressed that interest to me, I call the people up and say, hey, if you're still looking for an attorney, I have one that I'll recommend to you. And then what they do after that is their business. And there's just this past month, there's 4 situations that I'm currently talking to people about that look like they're going to be good cases. And then, of course, we have CJ. So we're talking what? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12? 12 cases? And the thing about it is, these cases, yes, you heard it right. The Zinter versus Savaggio case settled for $500,000. $500,000. So, so there were multiple plaintiffs. So no, every plaintiff didn't get $500,000. I'm not going to tell you how much people got. They can talk about how much they got if they want. As you should know, some of our cases were dismissed by a judge in Washington. So I can talk about what I got. I wasn't arrested. I got $5,000. But other people got way much more. But all the plaintiffs got a total of $500,000. The mediations took all day, from 9 in the morning till about 4:30 in the afternoon. And what's funny about it is during these mediations, their Rampage law firm, the one that got fired out of Leon Valley, it's the fox guarding the hen house. When they got up to $300,000, Rampage Law wanted to end the mediation. They wanted to end the mediation and keep fighting. And they got booted out of the mediation by Texas Municipal League. That actually happened. They were booted out of the TML's own law firm was booted out of the mediation. That happened around 1 o'clock. And the TML took over. It was obvious the TML really wanted to settle this case because the TML was bleeding money in legal fees. And I'm sure Rampage was like, fuck it, we'll just keep fighting and keep billing the TML. That's how Rampage Law makes their money. They will argue over the price of tea in China. They will argue over anything. So they got kicked out of the mediation, and the TML ultimately settled at $500,000. So we went up another $200,000 from 1 till about 4. It was quite an ordeal. So anyway, oh yeah, and no NDA. Kudos to all the plaintiffs in the Zinter suit. When we went into mediation, here were the options. We could just say no to the mediation and move on to court and face the experts say, an 86% chance at losing based on history, based on their history. Of course, we're setting new history, right? Because in this day and age of video, nothing we do, it's not a matter of he said, she said. It's all on video. So it really can't be argued. What happened can't be argued. Only why. So this is a new day and age. And I think we're going to be setting new precedents. We're going to be making new history. But as it were, the plaintiffs understood from the experts that there was an 86% chance of losing. But even knowing that, and knowing that at some point we were up to $300,000 is what TML was willing to pay at 1 o'clock. The plaintiffs continued to remind TML that no matter what the money was offered that there would be no condition of an NDA. And as you know, most of the time, NDAs are standard in settlements. But like I said, this is a new day and age. We are making history. There's no more NDAs. As for my cases, there will be no NDAs. We will go to court. The raid case, the Almost Park case, they are very much still moving forward. And there will be some new cases here regarding Bexar County, San Antonio Police, where I'll be a plaintiff in because I can't get resolution any other way than taking them to court. But there won't be any NDAs on mine either. Even if it costs me everything, not going to be any NDAs. So anyway, we can certainly talk about the Zinter case now. The depositions related to the Zinter case, the deposition of all the police officers, they are still currently under protective order. There was indication that the court may release those protective orders. We're still waiting to hear about that. So still we can't talk about stuff that occurred in the depositions. But it is eye-opening. I believe that the Texas Municipal League could learn a lot from the depositions. I hope that the depositions are unsealed. The first thing I'm going to do is send them all to the Texas Municipal League and ask them to look at these depositions and look at these police officers explain why they did what they did. And please do everything you can to stop them from doing that in the future, because what these officers said in their depositions is a shared mentality across the nation. And it's horrifying. The things they said in the depositions would be horrifying, I think, even to the most hardened bootlicker. I think there's going to be some bootlickers having heart attacks when they listen to these officers and the things that they said in these depositions. Like, some of them, I think that they felt that because it was under protective order, that nobody would ever know. How will they know? They'll know. But and the second place I'm going to go is to the Leon Valley, city of Leon Valley, and I'm going to deliver the depositions and excerpts every time their police officers lied under oath, with proof that they lied under oath. And that was all over the place. And I'm going to ask that they be terminated for lying under oath. And for the officers that have fled Leon Valley and think they're off the radar, I know where you're at. And I'll make sure that your department knows that in 2022, you lied under oath. And I'll see that pressure is put on your department and your cities to do the right thing, whatever should be done when they become aware of an employee who has lied under oath. So anyway, yeah, so that's the deal with the Zinter case. Bits and Bob's Diddler versus PayPal Padley, the Dumb and Dumber edition. That's funny. Hey, yo, sheepdog, hit the floor for a quick and 10 push-ups, son. They won't hurt you. You want me to do 10 push-ups? I can do 10 push-ups. You know, Andy, I wish that we could get them charged with crimes for lying under oath, but we're not there yet. We as auditors or civil rights activists or investigative journalists, we as spotlights to their corruption are not going to get any charges filed by anyone. They're not going to charge any cops because we're asking them to. We're not there yet. One day we will be. But I think first we really need to focus on going after the pockets of TML. and costing the TML money. And when TML starts having to pay for these officers who commit crimes against people and victimize people and abuse people and violate civil rights, when TML starts having to bleed more money, eventually the TML, it's going to be important for them to stop the bleed. Right now, they're just talking about it. They're talking about it. They mentioned it at during their last convention here in San Antonio. They were talking about that. And they even talked about me. I sent them an email back in 2017 warning them that I was going to put a lot of effort into lawyering up people. And then I have sent them emails letting them know every single time that I know I have successfully coordinated a lawsuit being filed. I've sent them an email about it. And every time I send them an email, I let them know that I'm available to work with you for free towards a solution. A solution that will, one, help you stop bleeding money, to stop the wound from being ripped open even more. Two, and in turn, prevent more instances of people being victimized by police. And to date, they have lent a deaf ear on top of it. So anyway, thank you guys for joining. I'm got to go. I got to wake up early in the morning and go to work. Thank y'all for joining, and